Alrighty, gang, we're on to page 4. Page 4, section D, inspections. Acceptance of this offer is subject to the following reserved right. Buyer may have the property inspected and select the licensed contractors, certified building inspectors, and/or other qualified professionals who will inspect the property. Seller will ensure that necessary utilities, gas, power, water, and all operable pilot lights are turned on and supplied to the property within 2 business days following the date of acceptance of this agreement to remain on until close of escrow. It is strongly recommended that the buyer retain licensed Nevada professionals to conduct inspections. If any inspection is not completed and requests for repairs are not delivered to the seller within the due diligence period, buyer is deemed to have waived the right to that inspection, and the seller's liability for cost of all repairs that the inspection would have reasonably identified had it been conducted, except as otherwise provided by law. The foregoing expenses for inspections will be paid outside of escrow unless parties present instructions to the contrary prior to escrow. Along with the applicable invoice, identify which party shall pay for the inspection noted below, either seller, buyer, 50/50 waived, or NA. So all of these sections, gang, I'll just do one. As you can see, it changes, okay? But what is on the screen is what we recommend you do 95% of the time. The buyer pays a home inspection and a pool inspection if there is a pool. If there is no pool, then of course you would put NA, okay? All of these things that say waived means your buyer can do these inspections. If they want to do a separate roof inspection or electrical inspection or plumbing or sewer inspection, they can. We strongly recommend they do not do that initially. The home inspection covers a majority of these, and if there is additional problems after the home inspection is concluded, the buyer then also has an option to get a roof inspection, to get a electrical inspection, okay? All of these other items that say NA, we put NA instead of waived because they do not apply. There is no septic tank. There is no well, okay? There is no need for lead paint testing because the home was built after 1978, okay? There is no elevator. If there was an elevator, you could check waived if they want to save that expense to that inspection for the elevator, but in this case, there is no elevator, okay? Section E, additional inspections and/or certifications. In the event the inspection reveals areas of concern with the roof, septic tank, well, wood burning device / chimney, or possible presence of fungal contamination or any other issue concern that was discovered on the home inspection or any other disclosures per section 12, buyer reserves the right to require a certification of additional inspections within the due diligence period. These expenses for certifications or additional inspections will be paid outside of escrow unless parties present instructions to the contrary prior to close of escrow, along with the applicable invoices. A certification is not a warranty. E, buyer's request for repairs. It is the buyer's responsibility to inspect the property sufficiently to satisfy buyer's use. Buyer reserves the right to request repairs based on the seller's real property disclosure or items which materially affect the value or use of the property revealed by the inspection, certification, or appraisal. Items of a general maintenance or cosmetic nature which do not materially affect the value or use of the property, which existed at the time of acceptance, and which are not expressly addressed in the agreement or deemed accepted by the buyer, except as otherwise provided in this agreement. The brokers herein have no responsibility to assist in the payment of any repair, correction, or deferred maintenance on the property which may have been revealed by the above inspections agreed upon by the buyer and seller or requested by one party. Paragraph 9, fees and prorations. Identify which party shall pay for the costs noted below. Again, you have choices: seller, buyer, 50/50 waived, or NA. What we have here, gang, is what we recommend you do 99% of the time. Escrow is 50/50. Property transfer tax, we want the seller to pay it. Lender's policy, buyer. Owner's policy, seller. Appraisal, buyer. Paragraph B, under section 9, prorations. Let me move up here a little bit. Prorations. Any and all rent, taxes, interest, homeowner association fees, trash fees, sewer fees, payment bonds, SIDS, lids, and assessments assumed by the buyer and other expenses of the property shall be prorated as of the date of recordation of the deed. Security deposits, advanced rentals, or considerations involving future lease credit shall be credited to the buyer. All prorations will be based on a 30-day month and will be calculated as of close of escrow. Prorations will be based on figures available at closing. Any supplements or adjustments that occur after close of escrow will be handled by the parties outside of escrow. 9C, preliminary title report. Within 10 business days of opening escrow, the title company shall provide the buyer with a preliminary title report, or PTR, to review, which must be approved or rejected within 5 business days of receipt thereof. If the buyer does not object to the preliminary title report within that specific period above, the PTR shall be deemed accepted. The buyer makes an objection of any items contained in the PTR. Seller shall have 5 days after receipt of objections to correct and or address the objections. If within that time specified, seller fails to have each such exception removed or to correct each such objection, buyer shall have the option to A, terminate the agreement by providing notice to seller and escrow officer entitling buyer to a full refund of EMD, or B, elect to accept the title to the property as is, all title exceptions approved or deemed accepted hereafter collectively referred to as permitted exceptions. Again, at the end of each page, each party acknowledges that he or she has read, understood, agrees each and every provision of this page, unless a particular paragraph is otherwise modified by the addendum. You sign it to your buyer initials it, the address, and then the seller will initial the bottom of page 4. So that is page 4, gang. Stay tuned for page 5.